Hello guys, this could be simultaneously the best video and the worst video that you've ever seen in regards to how the fuck do I connect the microfreak to the akai force. Let's get things in perspective here. So it sounds beautiful. I can't tell you how beautiful these two things connect, and the sounds that come out of this damn thing is just great, and it's to be celebrated. What's not to be celebrated is how much of a goddamn marriage it is to get things to work out right. You know what I mean. So anyway, there's plenty of videos explaining how to connect MIDI and all that shit to the akai force, but honestly, this thing is from another planet. It's fucking ridiculous. I had the same problems with Ableton, and rest assured, it's been a real journey getting the shit working right on the akai force. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to connect this purely up to this, just so that you can both hear this and play this via this. Excuse me guys, I had to restart the video because I was interrupted by my son. One of the things that I'm going to try and do is adjust the ISO so you can actually see like elements of the screen and stuff like that. So it's one of the things that I found other tutorials always fail to do. These are always like really, like this, look, it's always really blurred. Turn the damn ISO down. I'll put it in manual mode, which I haven't done, but I'm 2 minutes into the video now and I'm not doing I'm not restarting it. So how to connect the microfreak to the akai force. Start a blank project, if you please. Start a blank project and create an audio track and a MIDI track. Okay, you create an audio track and a MIDI track by pressing the plus button. Now you can see that I have the options of creating audio, drum, plugin, key group, MIDI and CV. Okay, audio and MIDI, you can see them there. The one's on the left, one's on the second right. Okay, now if you look at my tracks, Freak mid, FRK mid, and Freak odd, so that's self-explanatory, right? Okay, so we've got that right. Now you've created those, you've created an audio track, you've created the MIDI track. Okay, your microfreak is plugged in via XLR cable all the way around and into, mine is in input 2. Yeah, so if you look to the back of the microfreak, the akai force, this is 1 and this is 2. Okay, so it's plugged in there. The microfreak is then plugged in via USB all the way around and it's plugged in here. The other USB cable I've got going in is just into this akai MPK Mini 2, right? So ignore that. So the only thing you need to worry about is the one USB into the microfreak and the one XLR cable into the microfreak over here. See? Second from right. Ding dong. See? You can't get that wrong. It's the only place you can plug it in. Right, so it's all plugged in. Yeah, so the Freak audio, even without the Freak MIDI track, you can get sound out of the microfreak. And what you do is, by the way, I just renamed the audio track Freak Aud. Monitor in, very important. Okay, monitor in. That's it. Now, if you go to the mixer, yeah, and you go to I/O, let's have a look at this. These are the settings for the audio track in the I/O menu of the mixer. Input 2. It's in input 2 because the XLR cable is in input 2. If it's on 1 and 2, you're going to get sound out of one speaker in sound, no sound out of the other. If you put it in just the one it's plugged into, then that means that you're going to get sound out of both speakers. The mono signal is going to be split across 2 channels. Audio out is going to be, that's just standard. That just means that it's going to go out of the 2 outputs in the master. You know how that goes. Right, back to the matrix. Right, back to where we were. Back to where we created the tracks. MIDI, freak mid is what I called it. Okay, I've already named a freak mid. That's the MIDI track that I created. So, so MIDI input port, microfreak. Okay, so you double click here. You've got some options: Force, MPK, Mini Mark II, MIDI 1. You know, you've seen that plugged in and all that shit. Force, remote, blah blah blah. It's self-explanatory. You want the arturia to be. This fucking ISO's a nightmare. Pardon the French. So same again for the MIDI output port. Now MIDI output channels here, right? Remember, we are in the MIDI track settings. We got here by double tapping the top of the track. Yeah, so I'll do it again. You know, so I pressed the matrix there. Back to the matrix. And double tap freak MIDI, and there you go. There's the settings. So arturia microfreak, input port, and output port microfreak. Now, as far as the MIDI input channel is concerned, and as far as the MIDI output channel is concerned, that's going to be dictated by what channels you're using on the actual external synth, which in this case is the arturia microfreak. Now, if we go to the arturia microfreak and we press on utility, and we go to the MIDI settings, and god damn it, MIDI settings, and then we'll press on the MIDI settings and we'll go to the input channel. The input channel is channel 1. Output channel 1. So the output channel of the Akai Force is going to be 1 because the input channel of the arturia microfreak is input 1. So those 2 channels match. Okay, I'm not going to go into why MIDI input channel is 2, because at this point it should be self-explanatory. Yeah, yes. I'll give you an example though. So come on now. So output channel. The MIDI output channel is 2. So the output channel for the arturia microfreak is 2. So the MIDI input channel is 2. You get it. You get it. Right, okay. Now, once you've got this set up this way, actually, no. Now we're going to click on menu. We're going to click on preferences. We're going to go to MIDI sync. And here are the settings that I use. Take a screenshot. Enable MIDI ports, yes. Receive MMC off. Receive MMC, check. Send MMC, check. And those are the settings that I'm using. Okay. Take note of those. So those are in the global preferences for the MIDI sync setting here. Yeah. So we've got control, track. Global means actually I don't want to have to try and explain that, because I'll probably do a really shit job, because I don't fully understand what that means, other than global kind of like it has the potential to cancel out other MIDI inputs. It's like it is like, it makes it master sort of thing. There's a Facebook page called Akai Force Users, and there's a guy on there called Amit, and he's an absolute legend, and he has provided an excellent explanation of what these things mean on there. But anyway, you don't need to worry about that. You've got this down, you've selected these, you've got your MIDI sync settings set up as I have, you've got your XLR jacks, blah blah blah, you're using USB, into the USB ports on the Akai Force, and you're ready. So, in order to play the microfreak from the Akai Force, there are a million and one ways that you can do this. So first of all, if I press a key on the microfreak, it's the sound is coming from the microfreak through the Akai Force and out of the MIDI channel. It's got nothing. Out of the audio channel. It's got nothing to do with the MIDI channel. However, if I was to do this, so I'm controlling the microfreak via the Akai Force, and it is arpeggiating because the arpeggiator light is on. So the arpeggiator is actually active and it's working and is in tempo. It is in tempo, it's in 128. So the arturia microfreak is actually in line with the tempo of this because the MIDI settings that I've got on the arturia microfreak. Let me see. If we were to go to sync, source, USB. That means the signal, the clock signal is coming across the USB from 48 ppq. Clock tempo. If we were to go back, we were to go to MIDI settings, local on, ARP sequencer on, through on, knob send CC on, and merge USB and keyboard, so KBD. So that's the settings on the microfreak. That's what's got all of this working. So I'm not using the ARP on the Akai Force. I'm actually just using the ARP on this. Ooh, if I was to turn this off, if I was to you can actually use hold as well. So if you like press the button on here, you know what it's holding because I pressed the hold button on the arturia microphone, turned it off, and there you go. And it's not holding. So I'm going to play this with my elbow so that I can turn the cut off. Sounds good, eh? Do it again. Cool. If you want to record, so obviously, the MIDI clip is exactly what you would expect a MIDI clip to be in any DAW. So if we were to go to clip and we were to kind of just start, I don't know, go to grid, go to draw, and just press stop there. So it's playing the Arturia microfreak from the Akai Force.